Welcome back to another episode of the Decision Hour. I'm your host, Adam Bird. Folks, I'm really excited about the guest I have for you today. My guest today is a former Air Force officer, and he has over 30 years of experience in the medical diagnostic industry as a commercial and product development executive. He is the CEO of Exokinetics, and their product is a groundbreaking mobility device that allows users to walk, stand, and move safely without, get this, motors or batteries. Their product is called Zeen, and we're going to talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rick Shirock. Rick, how are you today?
All right. Hey, I'm doing great, Adam. You're hired. I got a sales position open. You're in. Hang up the microphone. Let's go.
That's it, folks. That's all the time we have today. You guys heard it. I'll be off doing my doing my new job starting tomorrow. Great.
There you go. That's how it happens.
Rick, welcome to the show. First off, let me say thank you for your service. Air Force veteran, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yep. Air Force.
Okay.
I ended up spending most of my Air Force career in the old AWACS, like jetliner with the big radar on the back. Yeah, I was an air intelligence guy for many years. Flew all over the world, just had a ball. And played a lot of war games.
How many years did you end up doing?
So I did 4 years active, and then 3.5 as a reservist. And then unfortunately, I had to leave my reserve duty because my business career was growing and it was sending me all over the place. So I did a lot of more moving in my civilian career than I did in my Air Force career. But the military for me is very special. Because I come from a true military family.
Really?
Both my father and mother and big brother all served in the military.
Wow.
And
did you feel like there was a little bit of pressure growing up, like oh crap, I guess I gotta go do this kind of a thing first, or was it just kind of embedded in you, like, no, I know that's what I'm going to do anyway?
Well, interestingly, my dad was he was very chill, right? He just said, son, it would be awesome if you served your country like your brother. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
But it's your choice. You do what you feel is best. And I appreciated that, right?
Yeah.
Because my dad was pretty much John Wayne on steroids. He was a old fighter pilot. He had me late in life, so he actually flew in World War II. He was a flying tiger in the Burma theater, and just an amazing pilot.
Oh wow!
And his stories go on and on. He was very inspirational, and I had the privilege of growing up as a young boy, just surrounded by the best generation of our military leaders and our military fighters. It was fantastic, and even my mom, she joined the Navy in World War II and ran a flight simulator for naval pilots.
Really?
Yeah. Which was basically a wine barrel that they stuck them in with a bunch of pulleys, And some guy would be pulling the pulleys and messing around with the pilot, and she was on the radio, calling in vectors. It's great to be, associated with this wonderful country and be able to serve it in some way or fashion.
Let's fast forward then. After the military, and you were talking about, you did your time in the reserves. You mentioned that your business was taking off. What kind of business did you get into right after the military then?
Yeah, so my degree in college was biological sciences.
Okay.
I really enjoy the sciences, always had, and didn't know what I was going to do with that degree. But, I always wanted to get into the Air Force, be a pilot like my dad. Unfortunately, that didn't work out, the pilot side of things, because of a medical disqual. But my love for science, remained. So when I decided to get out of the service, I fortunately came on board with a company called Abbott Laboratories, which back in the day, and this is in the 80s, was the top-notch medical diagnostic company in the world. And it was really it was a fantastic introduction into corporate America because they had tremendous resources to use in training me. They were hiring all junior military officers that were just getting out of the service. That was their, uh, that was their ideal candidate. So me and a bunch of other guys that were transitioning, had a great opportunity with Abbott. And since that time, I just really enjoyed the commercial end of things. I started off as a field sales guy and worked my way up in organizations to eventually running sales groups and creating entire commercial organizations for various companies.
Wow. I want to dive into how you got to where you are today with Exokinetics. Well, first off, you're the CEO there. How long have you been there?
I just celebrated my 2-year anniversary.
Oh, wow. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations on your
yeah.
anniversary. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It feels like 2.5 months, but it was 2 years.
Now you guys have a product called Zeen. Did I say that right? Is it Zeen?
Yeah, yeah.
And for those of you, just real quick, Rick, for those that are listening to this, if you're listening to the show right now, that means you're already on the internet. I want you to open up another browser, and I want you to go to GoZeen. That's GoZeen.com, and you're going to see why I'm having you go there here in just a second. Rick, can you talk about this product that you guys have?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So, so Exokinetics has one flagship product, like you said, Adam. It's called the Zeen.
Yeah.
And the Zine was designed and developed over almost a 6-year span
Really?
by some key engineers that were trying to solve the mobility assistance technology gap. In other words, before the Zine came around, there
Yeah.
was two methods to help people with mobility issues. Either, resign yourself to a wheelchair, right?
Yeah.
And use your arms for locomotion instead of your legs, or go to a walker
Right.
and
So it was like a
walk.
one
But
or the other kind of a
it was
thing.
one or the other,
Right.
and both were kind of brutal on the body,
Right.
right? The walker, you're supporting yourself with your arms, hands, and forearms, and you're trying to compensate for your lower body deficit. Wheelchair, when you're in a wheelchair, you stop using your legs and they start to atrophy, right?
Right.
So what the Zine is designed to do is fill that gap between a wheelchair and a walker. And what makes the Zine so different is our technology that is used for lifting. In other words, when you sit in a Zine, it's very similar to like a wheelchair, but you're sitting on a very large seat, kind of like a bicycle seat with an extended prow
Okay.
that goes between your legs.
Okay.
And as you sit in this seat, you can reach down and engage our lift mechanism. And that lift, non-motorized, again, this is all through engineering and using gas springs, it will lift that seat up with you in it up to 75% of your body weight. It will lift you up into a standing position. So now you're contacting that seat with the prow and the edge of the seat. So your buttocks and your hips are now being supported by the device. So your hands are actually free, right? So once you go from a sitting position to standing, at that point, you can start taking steps because there's nothing in front of you. You have handlebars that you can rest your hands on, but you
Right.
don't use your hands to support weight. And you can start taking steps fully supported by the Zine so that if you trip or if you lose your balance or if you have any type of reaction where your body stiffens or you fall, the Zine will hold you in the device because it has a belt,
I
a
was
seat belt that
just
goes
gonna
around
ask
your
that.
waist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? So there's
Yeah, and it holds your
there's no
center of gravity.
so there's no batteries, there's no having to plug it in to charge it or anything like that. This is all strictly
Human powered.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question then, I'm picturing it, I'm seeing it on the website. When if I'm standing, does it know how? Well, first off, is there a weight limit to the device?
Good point. There's two settings. So the Zeen is customized to each user,
Okay.
right? It's customized as to weight because the goal of the Zeen is to lift that person 75% of their body weight.
Okay.
It's to lift that body weight into standing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we have three different spring choices. We have light springs for people as light as 50 pounds, which is primarily children,
Right.
obviously,
Wow.
right? And we can adjust the springs all the way up to an individual that's 325 pounds.
That's
So
impressive.
same device, adjustable for weight, strength, and lifting that person. And then the second thing is that the Zeen has multiple settings for height. It's critical that that seat that I mentioned,
Right.
when you're standing, is in contact, not a lot of pressure, but in contact with your buttocks and hips,
Okay.
right? So that you're in contact with the prow and that front edge of that seat. That's your support mechanism. So
That makes
height
sense.
and
Okay.
weight can be adjusted. And once those are adjusted perfectly, man, we've seen amazing transitions in life from people that are non-mobile from a walking perspective to walking and feeling comfortable and confident that they're safe and that they can, use that Zeen in daily living.
You said this took about 6 years to come to fruition.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
I have to ask, just because I'm being nosy, but like, how did this start? How did that process start?
Yeah, no, great question. The origin story is kind of interesting. It would make a good little movie. Our founder is a very famous inventor here in the Philadelphia area. His name is Garrett Brown. And Garrett, in the early 70s, he actually invented for the movie industry what is called the Steadicam. And this invention back in the 70s was revolutionary and changed the way movie making was done because it enabled a cameraman to put on this apparatus that it would go on their body and it would suspend a movie camera right in front of them. And it would suspend it in a way that if the camera operator was jumping up and down, the camera would stay steady.
Wow.
So instead of building tracks like the old time movies where they built like little railroad tracks to move the camera along and take a panning,
Yeah.
view, now you just attached it into a Steadicam and the camera operator could run around and that camera is taking nice steady pictures. The first time it was used was in this B-budget movie called Rocky in 1975. And this no known actor named Sylvester Stallone, who funded this movie, hired our founder, Garrett, to use his new device and follow him up the stairs of the Philadelphia Museum in that iconic, Rocky scene of him running up the stairs and at the top raising his hands. The guy filming him was Garrett, right?
Wow.
So anyways, Garrett is a creative dude, to say the least. And he at the time had elderly parents that were really struggling with mobility,
Yeah.
especially his dad. He didn't want to be relegated to a wheelchair. He was very unstable and had a tremendous fear of falling with a walker. And Garrett said, "Hey, if I could figure out how to lift these heavy, movie cameras and suspend them effortlessly, I should be able to do the same thing with a human." So that was his inspiration with the Zeen. He wanted to figure out a device that could lift somebody to standing and then give them that ability to have, move around and be safe and not have that fear of falling.
It's fascinating. That is
so, yeah, bottom line, it took years because it's a very iterative process,
right.
Developing a device that has never been developed before. So they had a lot of early Frankenstein models, you can imagine, right? As they started learning more and more from each iteration of prototype until eventually they came up with a commercial solution, which we sell today. But it took 5.5 years.
And how long has it been to market?
We introduced it in 2022
so
with a limited launch.
Relatively recently then.
Relatively recent. Yeah, we that's why they hired me. The company was moving along. They introduced the zine to the market, but there were very few sales. So they hired me to be CEO of the company, replace Garrett, let him, go invent new and better things.
Right.
Um, but when I came on board, my mission was to grow the company, not only from a revenue standpoint, but from an awareness standpoint because of my background in commercialization and marketing and, the ability to grow a company. It was a good fit for both of us.
This just seems like a no-brainer to me, though. And I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting in front of you right now. It's just like you look at a product like this, and again, folks, if you're listening, open up another browser, go to GoZeen. That's GOZEEN.com, and check this out because, man, I can think of
Yeah,
a half a dozen people that like this is a life-changing product.
yeah,
And
yeah. No,
you go
and
from one like you mentioned, like from a wheelchair bound or to a walker. And or you see those sitting, you have those walkers you got to like shuffle along, and then you try to stand up. And this it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm using the wrong terminology, but I'm in the sitting position. This is the only one that helps you stand up upright,
that's
and then
exactly right.
supports you walking
That's
and being
exactly right.
mobile. That it's this. And again, I told you this offline. I looked at this pretty significantly and looked to see if there was other things. This seems like this is the only thing on the market right now. I don't understand why this isn't in
Well,
every medical
it
facility.
you're right. Um, we're very unique to the market. We're the only ones that have this technology, and it's all patented
Yeah,
and locked up nicely, right? Um, and secondly, to your point, it has such a broad application of people that use a device like this.
right,
Um, but the problem is awareness, right? It's just getting it out there.
right.
Today, right before this call, I was out in our lobby. A family drove in from Canada just to see the zine for their son, 20-year-old beautiful young man, has muscular dystrophy, right?
Yeah,
Is in a wheelchair. And he found us online because our online presence now has finally really juiced up. That's
right.
what's increased our sales so much in the last several months. He found us online, begged his parents, to come down so he could try it. And, it was just amazing to see this young man whose legs were so weakened from using a wheelchair for all these years. But he got in the zine, he stood up, he started taking steps, very shaky, right? His legs are shaking because he hasn't used those muscles in so long.
Right.
He's putting weight on his legs. That's another key benefit. He's weight bearing, right? And his body's responding. His spine straightens up. He stands tall. He's taking these initial steps that he hasn't taken in years and years and years. So, it's this determination. That's why I love um, our whole marketing scheme for veterans because we're trying to find people determined to maintain or regain their mobility. And it's all up here, man.
Yeah,
It's in that drive.
it's the you got to have the willpower to do it.
And vets, man, that's why they're vets.
Yeah, it
Because we all at one point in time made a commitment to serve our country and to do whatever's necessary, to ensure the freedoms and liberties that we all enjoy. And when these guys lose their mobility, either due to, you know, maybe a service injury
right.
or any other kind of injury, a traumatic brain injury, spinal cord injury, a lot of vets have chronic disease, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, those type of debilitating diseases where they need support in their mobility. That's what we're focused on.
And I love that you said that right now. So my next question is this in the VA right now?
Yeah, great question. When I joined, one of the first things we started to do is trying to figure out how to get on the federal supply schedule, right? And it took months. Um, Finally, by July of last year, we were awarded the contract with the VA Federal Supply Schedule for the Zeen and all of its accessories that we have for the device. And what that means is it just lowers that barrier to acquire a Zeen for a veteran that is going to the VA for medical care, right? Being on contract means that we discounted the Zeen for the federal government, so the federal government has the lowest price for a Zeen, right? We negotiated extra terms for extended warranties and all this stuff, expedited delivery times to the vets. All of this so that our vets can, as long as they get it prescribed by their physical therapist or their physician, and get a Zeen.
Okay, so with the VA, and there's how many of, I mean, I know this is still kind of new to market and whatnot, but do the physical therapists, do the primary care doctors and stuff like that, are they being more aware of what's offered or what's out there now, such as the Zeen, to where they can start prescribing it? I mean, are you starting to see a difference in numbers from the VA side of things that are coming in, or is it still?
Well, it's still early, right? It's government. To all my government people out there, I love you, but it moves at the speed of government.
Yeah. Y'all watch paint dry? That happens faster in some situations.
So because I understand government as you do, so I have a team of just amazing young people that are taking the Zeen to individual VA medical centers. And this is when the vet will see our Zeen on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, right? Yeah. And they'll walk into their VA and say, I want to try one of these.
Yeah.
And then the VA will call us and say, hey, what is this thing? This thing looks awesome. Can you come demo it to us? So I have a team that goes out and demos, 30 to 90 physical therapists, and they all love it because it's exactly what they've always wanted to have for their patients. And then we're able to start servicing vets that go to that VA. So it's been a VA at a time.
Well, of course, because if the VA and all of them talk together, that would make too much sense. That's for another show. But
that's what I kept saying. Don't you guys have like a new technology, email or something to say, hey, this is new?
No, they want, it's. It's funny because I was at the VA this morning, and you look around and you see people that are just, they want to be mobile. You could tell they want to be mobile, and I feel like, Rick, that this product that you guys have is making a positive impact on people's lives who may have felt like their life was on a certain path of not being mobile anymore. And now you're giving them, I'll dare say, a second chance. Yeah. And on top of that, the example that you used of the young man earlier that was using the use of his legs, putting weight on his legs that he probably hasn't used in years.
Yeah.
That's life changing. That's making that young man stronger now. I mean, how positive is that?
It's amazing. I mean, not to be over dramatic, but we've seen damn near miraculous changes to people that have used our device because it's designed to be safe, right?
Yeah.
That belt goes around your hips. You're supported by that seat. I mean, if you fall and your feet go up in the air and your arms go flailing up in the air, the device will hold you until you can get reoriented.
Wow.
You're not doing a face plant, right? You're not falling and breaking a femur or a hip. So
you really took the safety precautions into this as well. That's the fascinating part of this is just it's amazing. Like, you've taken every aspect of it, from weight distribution, from a sitting position to a standing position, to what happens if they fall. They got the the safety harness around them.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
Well,
amazing.
thank you. And it didn't happen overnight, as
Right.
we've already
Yeah.
discussed.
Yeah.
But one of the other key things is that when you're rebuilding those muscles, you got your Zeen now, right?
Yeah.
You're using your legs again. Um, you're building trust in the device so that you can take bigger steps, right? Or you can push your body a little harder. The key is because of our design is that when you get tired, instead of having to unclip and get out of the thing and go find a chair or a park bench or something, you just simply bend your knees
Yeah.
and your seat's with you, right?
That's just,
And what's really cool, especially my vet buddies, what's really cool is that they say, I'm going to take a break. And they lift that seat up, they put their feet on these footrests, and now they're sitting, but their eyes are at standing height of anybody else in the room. So they're sitting at standing height. We
yeah.
call it bar stool height, right? You can imagine that, right, Adam?
Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
picturing it right now. Just like,
you're just sitting
I gotta
up.
get one of these. That's
You're part of the conversation now. You're with your buddies.
yeah.
Everybody's eye to eye. They're not looking down at you in a chair, looking up,
And
right?
and from what you just said and what you explained there, let's talk about the mental part of that
Yeah.
for somebody. How emotional and just mentally what that does for
Yeah, man.
somebody,
It, it means all the world. And we have people even say, we've had poor people that have had no leg involvement at all. Their nerves were cut to their legs,
yeah.
but they get a zine so that they could elevate themselves and at least be part of the conversation, even
Yeah.
though they can't walk with it, or people with double prosthetics sometimes,
Actually, that brings me to my another question that I have. So with a lot of different devices, you mentioned like you compare it to a wheelchair or a walker, and if they're getting into a vehicle, does it fold up relatively easy? Is it easily storable?
Yeah, no, great question. Um, well, funny enough, Garrett, going back to our origination story, as they were developing the zine, right,
Yeah,
and getting it through its initial design phases and prototypes, they finally got to this prototype, which was pretty doggone good, right? It lifted you up, you could walk, right? It was great. And then they said, well, how are we going to get it in a car? So they said, oh, they went back to the drawing board, redesigned the whole thing so that they could figure out how to have that functionality, yet be able to collapse this,
yeah.
right, into a collapsible size of 11 inches, right?
Oh wow.
So it's thin, and then you can get it into either a car back seat or like a hatchback is ideal,
Yeah,
right? We even have these trunk lift systems that are very simple. A strap system that goes out of your hatchback onto the ground, and you roll your zine over it, and then instead of lifting the zine, you lift the straps, and it uses leverage, and it takes the 42 pounds of the zine and makes it feel like it's about 25 pounds as you just kind of walk it into the back of your car. So we've even seen just very tiny, supportive wives or spouses or significant others get the zine in the back of the car with this trunk lift system, we call it. So it's very portable, and that was a key design feature. Keep the weight down, make it fold, and a lot of our customers, they fly a lot. That you could take it all
yeah,
the way, take it to the airport, take it all the way down to the door of the plane, just like you would with a child stroller,
yeah.
and fold it up, put a cover on it, and they just throw it right on the plane.
GoZeen.com, folks. Go check it out. Some of us, I know some of you out there that are listening, we've got family members that are getting up
Yeah.
there in age or and you don't want to see them sitting around. This is just such a cool product. And from the veteran side of it, I can think of about a half a dozen
Yeah.
knuckle draggers out there that, would love to see this at your local VAs out there. Let's make this happen.
Yeah,
Let's
and
flood the market with this thing.
I hear you, man. I hear you. And the other thing is I have an amazing team,
Yeah.
Adam. So for your listeners out there, I would highly encourage you go to the website, like you said, go zeen.com, and there's a phone number. If you want to talk to somebody, because every one of our customers, as you can imagine, is different.
Yep.
We don't have a typical customer one. Out of the 3,000 zines we sold out there, we don't have the same customer at all. So call us, talk to our specialists, and tell them, hey, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do. These are my goals. This is what I want to do with my mobility. And our guys are probably, I'll say this, better trained than most medically trained physical therapists because we've seen so many hundreds and hundreds of people
Yeah.
with different mobility challenges utilize this technology, right? So I encourage you, call us. You're not bothering us. That's why we're here. And vets, same thing. Call us. We'll coach you how to go to your VA, right? And say, I want one of these. There's a little bit more to it. If you use your VA portal and actually put in there, hey, I have a fear of falling. I want a device that will help me address my fear of falling and keep me mobile. You put that in your VA portal, it's part of your medical record, and they have to respond. I'll probably get in trouble for saying that.
There's a mic drop right there, folks. There's nothing better. Like, yeah, it's been a while since I love it. I love it, Rick. I love it.
I'll probably get a call from Secretary Oz or whoever's running the VA.
Let's Rick, we're coming up on time, but I got one more question for you. It's a question that I ask all my guests. The show's called The Decision Hour, and we have to make decisions every day. So, name a time in your life where your feet are on the line and you have to make that decision. What is it, and what's the atmosphere like?
Oh, that's interesting. I'll tell you. So when I got into the service, I went into the flight program. My father was a fighter pilot, 30-year Air Force officer. Flew in World War II, flew brand new planes called jets in the early 50s. Was in Korea. He was a pretty cool dude. And I get in the service, I go to flight training, and 6 months into it, right when I was getting ready to transfer into T-38s, we had our midway physical, and they said, Shirock, I think we hear a heart murmur. And they sent me to Travis and did a workup, came back as inconclusive, but at that time in the 80s, they just said, sorry, son, we're going to ground you. You are no longer flight qualified. Now, I had a decision to make. They actually told me, they said, you can get out of the service even though we paid for your college education, but because of this, we'll waive your time so that you don't have to stay in the service if you don't want to, or choose another AFSC, another job, and complete your time. So I had this decision. What am I going to do? I can't fly. My dad said, well, son, that's up to you. But if you don't have wings on and you're in the Air Force, it's not the best thing. And thanks, Dad. Right. But I chose with my 22-year-old brain, I want to still serve, and I want to serve in any way I can.
Right.
So I stuck with it, and I said, let me finish out my 4 years active duty and support my country wherever you needed me. And they put me in air intelligence with AWACS, and I'm so glad I did because I think I helped.
Yeah.
So
that's
one of those times in life.
That's pretty cool. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Rick. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your time today. Do you have anything in closing that you would like to tell our audience?
If I don't tell the audience the phone number, I will get killed by my marketing guy.
And we'll make sure that we have it in the show notes below here too, as well, folks.
Oh, okay. But yeah, again, everybody listening, if you're thinking about mobility and you have questions, either for yourself or a loved one, give us a call. We'll be glad to talk to you about the situation. As I mentioned earlier, it's not for everybody, right?
Right.
But the key is it's for those determined to regain their mobility, and that's our customer, and we would love to work with you. But give us a call at 833-367-9336, or schedule a time directly on our website, which Adam has said a couple times, gozeen.com.
Love it.
We'd love to talk to you, see if we can help.
Thanks, Rick. Folks.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
Absolutely. Folks, go to gozeen.com, GOZEEN.com. We'll have it in the show notes below. Or you can call 833-367-9336. Before we let you go, also go check out our parent network, Heroes Media Group. Go check out all the shows and articles that they have over there. Until next time, you've been listening to The Decision Hour.